This is the brand new S11 Stradivari bib short, and there's been a couple of key updates between this S11 generation and the previous S9 generation before it. The straps have been slightly lightened off compared to the previous generation. Because of the main material being slightly more elastic than the previous generation of material, the way that they've anchored the strap into the rest of the short has been updated, so you've got more of an anchoring point into the back. Again, because of this increased elasticity of the short, the way that the short pulls around the body of the rider that's wearing it, they've been able to do away with that A-lock design, so that kind of deeper strapping right down lower onto the short. The result is a short that feels like it's less in your way when you have it on. They've got the silicone leg grippers for the first time, so previously this was only available on the RS R short, but they've put this down into the RS. I prefer the silicone grippers because it reduces the need for a seam at the bottom of the short, and it just essentially makes the cylindrical leg of the short feel like it's the best way to describe it, it makes it feel like it's not even on. They don't move, they just feel nice and light, they feel extra supportive, but in a way that doesn't feel like it's taking away from anything. These shorts only add to your experience. There's been some increases in performance in the Shami as well. Golden Gate has been updated in this Shami's design to Golden Gate 2.0, so they've more aggressively cut away the side panels. The more aggressive cut keeps the pad slightly further removed from the movements of your leg up and down in the stroke. While this pad wants to be a supportive compressive barrier against the pressure of the saddle, you don't want any of your leg's movement going into the chamois. So pulling this back here allows the chamois to stay more in line with the pelvic rami, so the underside of your pelvis. The bony tissue is such that's engaging with the saddle on your bike. This part of the chamois stays more in touch with your body and less in tune with the other movement going on associated with the pedal stroke. You have a lot of ventilation holes at the front of the chamois here, and this creates a big inflow of wind to come through, allowing essentially really good ventilation. On top of ventilation, they also have exceedingly good moisture wicking capabilities, so the chamois really does feel like it never gets wet. And I know that seems like a crazy thing to say, but when you get sweaty, when you're riding in hot conditions, the chamois never holds on to any of that moisture, it pulls it away, and the net result is skin that doesn't get broken down and skin that doesn't chafe as quickly as on other competitors' shorts. To top that off with the chamois, the top layer of material is much softer than the previous generation. I've tried these shorts out a few times now, and the best way for me to describe this to you is I couldn't put myself into any position on my bike that made these shorts feel like they were pinching into my body, because the chamois is that closely. Essentially, a good way to think about the chamois is like a second skin, effectively. It really does feel that good. The location of the ventilation holes in the bottom here has allowed Assos to really create a whirlpool effect in terms of the ventilation. So it's not just a linear airflow. When the air comes inside, the underneath section of the chamois gets span around and just kind of creates more and more vortexes inside the chamois, so it just adds to the ventilatory properties of the chamois itself. The density of this foam and its ability to reduce the impact of shock. So for instance, if you hit a pothole, it softens the blow of rough road conditions. That's one way of putting it. Combining the updated chamois design with the new and improved textile cut and fabric of the S11 bib short, you're going to be reaching for these shorts on days when you feel like you're going to be doing harder riding. So if you're doing a chain gang, or you're doing a sportive, or you're doing a race, these are the shorts that you want to be riding. I really feel that the way that these shorts combine all of their features and all of the features stack up in such a way that they really are like a second to none product in the space of a kind of aggressive race day short.